Say hi. Hey everyone, it's Ashley, and today I'm bringing you kind of a different video from anything I've done before. I'm gonna start doing a recently read and currently reading kind of video. I'm not sure if I'm going to call it that. I'm not sure where that originated. I know that Dana from the Book Hoarder does recently read and currently reading, and I love those videos. I will leave her channel link down below. She's phenomenal. She's a friend of mine as well. I would highly recommend following her if you don't. And if I can figure out where exactly the idea originated from, I will also leave that creator down below. I like this because I used to do Friday Reads videos and then I stopped doing that, but I like telling you guys what I'm presently reading, because a TBR video is literally just me being like, I think I'm gonna read these books this month or in this, quarter of the year or whatever. But I don't necessarily or generally read the books that I show you in a TBR video, so this should solve all of those problems. And without further ado, this episode, series, video thing of recently read and currently reading is all about the audiobooks that I have been listening to recently, that I've recently finished and that I'm currently listening to. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm pretty vocal about it on social media and in my videos, but I love audiobooks. I listen to audiobooks all the time. I listen to audiobooks when I get ready in the morning. I was listening to an audiobook when I curled my hair today. I listen to audiobooks when I'm walking to the bus station. If the bus is too busy and I can't sit down, I will listen to an audiobook while I bus instead of reading a physical book. I will listen to an audiobook pretty much any time that I have spare time. I listen to audiobooks. I have my phone out because I want to tell you guys everything that I have been listening to in the last month to month and a half. So at the end of September, I listened to Peter Pan, which was read by Jim Dale. For those of you who don't know, Jim Dale does the Harry Potter series. He's not the only person who does the Harry Potter series. I think Stephen Fry also does an audiobook series of the Harry Potter books. But Jim Dale is by far and large the best audiobook reader in my opinion. He is my favorite audiobook reader. I think I am going to actually go through every single book that he reads just because he reads them. I love his voice so much. Peter Pan was very kind of different than I expected it to be via audiobook, but I still quite enjoyed it. And again, Jim Dale's voice was just top notch. And I also listened to it over the course of I think 2 days. I think I finished it in 2 days. It's only 5 hours or something like that. Then I listened to Coraline by Neil Gaiman. I listened to this on the drive back from Toronto. My boyfriend came to Toronto to pick me up. I was at my parents' place for a while. I was doing an internship downtown Toronto. And on the drive back from Toronto, which is 6 hours, we listened to Coraline, which is 3.5 hours long. And Neil Gaiman reads the book himself. And Neil Gaiman is another person whose voice is literally just so perfect. And he always does his own audiobooks, which I love. I love when authors do their own audiobooks. Coraline was very good. It's not my favorite Neil Gaiman book, but I still very much enjoyed Coraline. Then I listened to The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This book was phenomenal. The girl who reads the audiobook, I want to find her name, hold on. Bonnie Turpin Parker. She was a phenomenal reader. It was easily a 5 out of 5 star book and a 5 out of 5 star audiobook experience for me. I would highly recommend the book and the audiobook to anyone who's interested in it. I just, I was on the bus in tears at moments. It was just so, yeah, it was just, I don't even have words. There's no words. And last but not least, I listened to the audiobook for Fangirl. I actually finished this 2 days ago. It's actually what prompted me to want to do this video for you guys. I've read Fangirl before. I've actually read Fangirl more than once before. It's one of my favorite YA contemporary books of all time. I love it. I also just love Rainbow Rowell in general. And I wanted an audiobook that I could listen to that I didn't have to feel like I had to pay all of my attention to all the time. Sometimes I will listen to an audiobook that I've read before because I feel like I don't need to put 100% of my brain towards the audiobook all the time. So I picked Fangirl because I haven't read Carry On yet, and I've been in this very Harry Potter mood lately. I want books that feel like Harry Potter but aren't Harry Potter because I've already reread Harry Potter this year. And so I wanted to read Carry On, but I wanted to do a reread of Fangirl before I read Carry On. So I listened to the audiobook. The audiobook is 13 hours and I finished it in like less than a week. I was addicted. I remind you, I've already read this book multiple times. I knew what would happen. I know the plot, but I was still like on the edge of my seat the whole time. I love Fangirl. Again, 5 out of 5. The performances by the 2 readers were also 5 out of 5. Amazing. Now, what I am currently listening to, I'm currently listening to 3 different things actually. I will sometimes do this where I'll listen to multiple audiobooks at the same time. So I'm currently listening to Eleanor and Park with my boyfriend. We will listen to audiobooks when we are like cleaning the house or when we're driving somewhere, etc., etc. So Eleanor and Park is what we are currently listening to together. And then I'm personally listening to 2 separate audiobooks. The reason for this is that I'm doing something that I don't always do, but I will do if I feel like it's the kind of book that will bode well for this. So I'm reading Carry On, like the physical book. I started it yesterday, and then I decided to download the audiobook as well because the person who reads this audiobook is really good. I listened to a sample and I really liked it, and I realized that I want to read this book really quickly, and I find that if the person who reads the audiobook is really good and I can remember things going back and forth between the audiobook and reading the book personally, which isn't always the case but sometimes is, I can read the book way faster. I did this with the Lunar Chronicles series, the first 2 books, Cinder and Scarlet, and I read them both so fast, like ridiculously fast, because as much as I read faster than an audiobook reads, I can't read while I'm walking unless I feel like hurting myself. Sometimes I will read while I walk, but it's unsafe. And I can't read while I'm doing other things with my eyes and my hands. So I'm currently listening to this audiobook and reading the book at the same time. Hopefully that will mean that I can finish this book really fast. And the other book that I'm currently listening to that I actually just started yesterday as well is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. The reader of this book is so good. I was gonna buy the book. I'm still gonna buy the book because I like giving money to publishers and authors and the people who do these things. But I was gonna buy the book because I thought that I could read it faster than the audiobook and that like it's one of those books that I would want to read myself. But then I listened to the sample of the audiobook and like I was sold and I got it immediately. So I'm also currently listening to that one, which I think will be amazing via audiobook. Okay, so that is what I have recently read and am currently reading, although by that I actually mean what I have recently listened to and am currently listening to. If you're an audiobook person, make sure to leave me some recommendations for audiobooks in the comments down below. Also, even if you're not an audiobook person, make sure to let me know what you've recently read and are currently reading in the comments down below. I want to hear from you guys. And other than that, I'll see you guys soon with another video. Happy reading. Bye!